Howdy. Today is the Max Investment Frost video. Big Daddy Frost. What's funny is that I was already about to do this video, but then I had some random dude like telling me to off myself in my Discord because I said Frost was in S tier on my tier list video. Kind of cringe, you know, pretty apparent that he ain't got no PP anyways. Let's quickly go over the Frost fashion for anybody interested. Do I even have sigils on him? Oh, yeah, I did have a sigil on him. Wait, I have a bloodshed sigil on him. Oh, yeah, with the color white. Yeah, I forgot about that. Now, Frost is so freaking good. I know there's going to be people wondering why I've got 3 blue shards here, and I will explain that in a minute. So first, let's go to the Frost build. Lord of Winter. Oh, yes. Much edge. Very good. So, Frost, I'm going to assume you have a general idea of how he works, but we will cover his abilities real quick. First, I'm going to switch to this build so I can show all 4 of them. Frost's passive is cold status effects from Frost abilities have their duration increased by 100%. Frost gains 50 armor per enemy afflicted with cold status within 15 meters. So pretty good, double cold duration so they stay frozen for longer, and extra armor, always nice. His first ability is just a big freeze cast. You don't really need this, you can subsume it off or subsume off as 2. Either one you want, but these abilities can be used to some degree. Here, let's actually switch back here so I don't have my companion in the way. And if we come back over here, spawn these enemies in, you can see that, where you will in a second here. It's got a pretty big AoE for applying cold. It does take 2 hits to freeze enemies, but his first ability is not nearly as bad as people make it out to be for how cheap it costs if you need to freeze enemies and you can't afford his 4. Especially if you can't do like a max investment build where, you know, you've got like super high efficiency and a great energy economy. And this also has an augment that lets you get a lot of cold damage onto your weapon, which can be very snazzy. And then his 2 just sends out a bunch of ice spikes. They don't really do much damage, but they are also good for spreading cold everywhere. It also looks really cool. I heard somewhere that they were going to be changing this. Like, I watched a video by a small YouTuber, I can't remember who it was, saying they were going to change this for the augments. I don't know if that's true or not, but I guess we'll see in the future. You cannot recast the ability until the current ice wave has ended. So you can see even if I spam it, it has to wait until the current ice wave is no longer on the field. But I do like this for building up the Arcane from Arcane Ice Storm, right? Building the stacks up for that, which we'll cover in a minute. Then his next ability is the Snow Globe. It's a very straightforward ability, very good for defense. It has been changed a fair bit since before Jade Shadows. Now if we cast it, it makes this big dome. The dome is immune to damage for 3 seconds, I believe, and the more damage it takes during the immunity, the higher the HP of it. You can see the HP of your dome on the ability, on the bottom right where your abilities are, so it's 99 to show it's at 99% HP right now. I don't know why it's not at 100. Now, before Jade Shadows, you could not shoot through it if you were on the outside, you or your teammates, but they changed that so you can shoot through the bubble. If you were a player, you can shoot through it from any side, which is such a nice quality of life change. You can also detonate the bubble by using your first on it to delete it. If you cast the bubble on enemies, it will automatically freeze them and expel them from the bubble's radius. But something they changed is that you can still have multiple bubbles out, right? Just like so. I think the cap is 4, I want to say. Yes, the cap is 4. But now, I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but before Jade Shadows, you could cast multiple bubbles in one spot. If you cast a bubble inside of a bubble, it just resets it. You cannot have multiple bubbles stacked on top of each other. That is not something you can do anymore. Not the end of the world, but a bit of a sad face. Then finally, his Avalanche, his main ability, he freezes every enemy and then shatters them, and it will make an explosion, strip their armor, And if you have the augment, it can also give you overguard. So let me reset these enemies. Come over here. We cast this. Shabam. All frozen. Max cold procs. Now, something to keep in mind for when you use Frost, and this applies to cold procs in general, is that after an enemy is frozen from cold, and they reset when the duration ends, they are set back to 3 cold procs. And you cannot reset the cold freeze until they are no longer frozen. So see how they're frozen, and then I freeze them again, but now they're going to unfreeze really quickly because it doesn't refresh the freeze duration. You just have to wait for them to be unfrozen to refreeze them. Doesn't really matter that much, but it is something worth noting. Oh yeah, and I think if an enemy is inside of a cold bubble, they take like 1 cold proc every second. Yeah, you can see it goes up by 1 cold proc per second, or roughly 1 second. Now, on to the Frost build. Back to this loadouts. Now, the first thing we will go over is the Archon shards, because they are fairly important. We have 2 casting speed shards, because without casting speed, his 4th ability takes so unbelievably long to cast, so please put at least 1 normal Tau Forged or 2 normal yellows for casting speed. And in this case, I have 2 Tau Forged for yellows, just to make it so we don't have to spend eternity casting our 4 ability. Other than that, we have 3 blues for energy max. Now, the reason we do this is because he does actually struggle for energy at times when you're spamming Avalanche all over the place. So having higher energy is really nice, especially because his base energy is very, very low, sitting at 100. That's quite bad. Even with primed flow, he only has like 400 max energy. So this just helps a lot in keeping his energy maintained. And in general, you really don't need other shards. Like, purple shards are pretty pointless unless you're spamming your melee. You don't need orange shards. You don't need green shards. You don't need any other effects from the blue shards. Like, it's just, there's not really anything else to run other than maybe parkour velocity or like a little bit of strength. But even strength and duration aren't really needed here. Now, for the build itself, we have Brief Respite and Catalyzing Shields. That way, when we cast our abilities, we can get our shields back in nearly our full shield gate, which is very nice, on top of having his Augment Icy Avalanche, which makes it so that allies within affinity range, including yourself, are coated in ice that grants 60 overguard per enemy hit. And the overguard increases by 20% over your armor once per enemy. So the higher armor, the more overguard you give to yourself and teammates. It also applies to your companion. Because of that, with Brief Respite and Catalyzing Shields, every time we cast our 4, we get our shields back and we get overguard. So we get an overguard gate. This works very similarly to the Fire Blast with its augment in Brief Respite and Catalyzing Shields on Ember, in just giving you extremely good survivability. You just need to make sure to have energy to be able to spam Avalanche when needed. Next, we have Cunning Drift. For the extra ability range, it's not necessary, but it is nice having a little bit higher range, and we don't need Prime Sure-Footed, because with Overguard, which we will have most of the time, we get status immunity, which knockdown is a status. Next, we have Archon Flow. This isn't really needed either, because we will rarely get kills with our abilities, but it gives the same amount of energy max as Prime Flow, and it makes it so we have a chance of dropping an energy orb when killing an enemy with a cold ability, right? Enemies killed by cold abilities have 10% chance to drop an energy orb, cooldown 10 seconds. We have Stretch for more ability range. We have Biting Frost, another one of his augments. Frost gains 200% crit chance and 200% crit damage against frozen enemies, which they can be frozen by any source, be it abilities or weapons. And this 200% crit chance and crit damage is additive to mons like Vital Sense for crit damage or Critical Delay / Point Strike for crit chance. But it is very, very nice to have. Wait a second, is this even the right build? I just realized, no, this is not the right build. Okay, here it is. Oh yeah, I forgot. All the mods are exactly the same. I just switched out one of the helmet abilities. We're good. Then we have Prime Continuity for duration. Umbral Intensify for strength, because we want strength affecting our 4 and our 1. And Fleeting Expertise, it nukes our duration, yes, but it helps our efficiency a lot, which is very nice. You can run Streamline if you want higher duration, but I think Fleeting Expertise just really, really helps here. Our Helmet ability is Breach Surge, because it's insanely good for both crowd control, because enemies can't attack you, as well as spreading massive PP damage to everything. And there's a unique synergy between Breach Surge and Frost in general with the Biting Frost Augment, which is Breach Surge has a base crit chance of 100%. And I believe it has I don't know what the base crit multiplier is, but I'm assuming it's either a 1 or 2.0. But you can't normally increase those crit values, but you can with Biting Frost because it affects all crit chance and crit damage on Frost as long as the enemy is frozen. So this makes us get massive red crits from our Breach Surge spreading around. Then we have Arcane Energize to help with our energy economy, and Arcane Ice Storm, which makes it so on enemy frozen, gain 2% ability strength and 2% ability duration. Something to note would be you cannot proc this on a Warframe by using cold on your Sentinel or your companion in general. It has to be from the Warframe to proc it. I think weapons might proc it, but it might just be abilities. But it obviously works perfectly on Frost because he applies cold everywhere. So we will pretty much always be at max stacks, giving us 40% strength and 40% duration, putting us at 184 strength and 135 duration. Now, a breakpoint that you really want to be able to hit is Avalanche being high enough strength to full armor strip. Its base armor strip is 60%, which means you are going to need, I think, like 167 or 168% strength to get a full armor strip. But as soon as we get just a few stacks, for like half our stacks from Arcane Ice Storm or a little more, we will be able to full armor strip with Avalanche. So that is very, very nice. Now, that is pretty much it for this build. It's very straightforward. Next, we have our companion, which is going to be Hellstrom, or not Hellstrom, sorry, Nautilus. We have Nautilus for grouping, a pretty typical Nautilus build, synth deconstruct, so we get more health orbs. That doesn't really matter, though. You can switch this out for something else. Cordon, so that we can pull enemies in. Calculated redirection with accelerated deflection to give it more stockability. Prime regen, so it comes back faster. Manifold bond, so it can spam Cordon. Duplex bond, so there's a bunch of them around spamming their weapon, which you will see in a sec is Hellstrom. Assault mode, so that our Nautilus itself can use its weapon and vacuum to suck stuff in. The weapon will be Hellstrom, because it is incredible for spreading viral procs all over the place. This is a pretty typical viral primer build for the Hellstrom. We just want to put viral procs on as many things as we can to make them take more damage. So we have viral on everything all over the place pretty much all the time, and we will almost always have a full armor strip, and we will also be getting massive amounts of crit chance and crit damage on everything that is frozen, and then everything is also going to pretty much always be frozen. And then we can spread massive amounts of damage around with Breach Surge. I'm sure you can see why this is going to be pretty insane. Now, our weapons are entirely up to preference. That's been the case for the last, like, 3 max investment videos, I think. But run whatever you want. I'm using... We'll start with the melee. We have Jack Kitag. This is, again, entirely up to preference. It's just a funny weapon, and it can do big damage since we're getting viral procs all over the place and armor stripping and everything. This is a very straightforward build. I would recommend unlocking the Exo slot for Tennokai. You really want to do that, but I don't have it unlocked right now. Then we have Lex Prime and Karnon. This is very nice because we don't have armor strip, but we already have viral and armor strip in our build, so we don't need the armor strip like with corrosive or viral in the weapon, so we have a gas build. Amalgam Barrel Diffusion because I like the dodge speed, and we don't really need extra damage anyways, but you can run Galvanized Diffusion if you wanted. Lethal Torrent for fire rate multi-shot. Prime Target Cracker, Prime Pistol Gambit for crit chance crit damage. Anemic Agility to help fix the horrible base fire rate. Pistol Pestilence, Primed Heated Charge, so that we can get gas damage and a large amount of damage in general. Galvanized Crosshairs to get a ton of crit chance. And Secondary Deadhead, so we get big PP damage from headshot kills, as well as less recoil and a bigger headshot multiplier. Finally, for our weapons, we have the Prisma Gorgon. Now this, as well as the Gamma Core Incarnon, both of these Incarnon modes have a unique effect, you could say, when using with Frost and Biting Frost. Now, like I said earlier, typically The Biting Frost Augment, the crit chance and crit damage you get from it is additive to weapons like, or not weapons, mods like Critical Delay and Vital Sense. Where's Vital Sense? Doody dotty doo. I can't find it because I am blind. Is it already on the weapon? No, it is not. Here it is. But in the case of the Incarnon form for both Gamma Core Incarnon and Gorgon Incarnon, it is a final multiplier. It is not additive and it is not flat. So the 200% crit chance is going to be final multiplier on this 120%, meaning it will be triple what this 120% is, putting that at a very snazzy 360% crit chance. So the higher your crit chance and crit damage on this weapon, the higher you're going to get the multiplier from the augment. That's why Prisma Gorgon works really well with Frost for massive PP damage. It's a pretty decent weapon in general as well anyways. And then we have cold and gas damage on this weapon because, I mean, cold makes it so we can go primary Frostbite for more crit damage as well as multi-shots, and then we don't have to get kills to build it up. And gas because we don't need Armor Strip or Viral or anything like that because we have it from our Frost and Companion. I do have a Riven, which is cold, crit damage, crit chance, though if you don't have this, just replace it with Vital Sense. But we will be using this for now. Prime Firestorm is also here just to get bigger explosions because this thing has already decent sized explosions, but incredible fall off of only 10%. So we want to maximize that. Stabilizer is very nice here, so the recoil isn't so bad. Other than that, a very straightforward build that I showed off near the end of my Prisma Gorgon Incarnon video I did about a week ago. And that is pretty much it, right? Oh, I guess the Focus School. I have Naramon here just to build combo faster on Jack Katag or whatever melee in general, but you can run literally any Focus School. Zeneric if you feel like you need more energy, Vazarin if you want more survivability / support. Uneru is completely worthless in this build, don't use it. Madrai, I guess if you're running Void Cascade, but we don't need the extra ability strength or casting speed because we have 2 casting shards. And then, of course, Naramon if you are spamming a melee. But for now, I will be sticking with Naramon. Now let us show off the build. I want to get these stupid domes to not be over there anymore, so I'm going to cast a bunch over here. Okay, there we go. Grab our energy, reset these enemies, make ourselves invincible, and unpause them. And now we just run in, they all get yeeted in, we do that, reach surge out. And I mean, I can't even build, I'm just trying to build the Incarnon form and they all die. That's like a common theme in all of these max investment videos, is that it's pretty pointless to show it in the Simulacrum because everything just dies so fast. Let's try this. I mean, everything's gonna die in one hit. It doesn't even matter that it's grouped. Oh wait, I accidentally cast that, but it's just gonna, you know, all get pulverized. So, as per the usual, we will be doing a solo Netracell to attempt to show off this build in action. It is, like all of the builds I've shown so far in max investment, very, very strong and has pretty much everything you can need. We've got incredible survivability. We've got insane amounts of damage. Everything's armor stripped, everything's frozen for crowd control, tons of crit chance, crit damage, breach surges flying all over the place, viral everywhere from our companion, constant sucking in because of our companion. It's just a bit insane. Now, let us do this Netracell. It should be a very easy peasy oogity boogity. There is a bit of a problem. I think I mentioned this in the Ember video, and it's something that actually took place as a bit of an issue when doing the Valkyr max investment video, is that with Netracells, I'm gonna, wait, hang on a second, we're gonna hope we don't get any too terrible debuffs. Yeah, we should be fine. So, when you're using a companion with duplex bond, it's good, typically, because they have some level of aggro. So enemies are, you know, not going to attack you as much. But there is a bit of an issue when you're doing a Netracell, is that those little duplex guys will roam around outside of the zone sometimes, and enemies will get distracted fighting them instead of coming into the zone. So that can be a bit annoying, but there's not a whole lot we can do about that other than remove duplex bond for a Netracell, but it's not really worth it. I mean, you're still going to beat the Netracell pretty easily. It just might take a bit longer depending on how the enemies aggro towards your Sentinel duplicates. Reset this. Now, it is going to be a bit annoying until you get energy, but that's not usually an issue in this game. You know, just like kill a group of enemies with your weapon, you'll get a bunch of energy. Slap down energy pads instead if you need to. Do whatever you have to. And once you get your energy going, you should be big chillin', as the kids would say. Ooga booga. I just can't believe that there's anybody that would think Frost isn't great. Somebody tried to say freaking Frost is below Necros. That's just mind-boggling to me. I don't know about you guys, but I really don't think that Necros is better than Frost. I mean, you know, he doesn't have a whole lot going for him. This video isn't about Necros though, so let's stray back from that topic. About to be in the zone finally. My HP is draining fast, which is a bit of a yowzas, but once we start killing stuff and getting health orbs, we should be fine. I need energy, so we slap down an energy pad, cast my 4, we get our shields back, we get overguard, and now we're pretty much set. No! Don't you dare spawn that dude. I don't like dealing with Necrolex. They're a pain in my bootay. I'm gonna ignore Glizzy Guzzler over there, because I don't really need to kill him. There's not much point in bothering. I need to stay near my energy pad. Oh, it already ran out. Well, never mind. Look at this beauty. Sucking everything in with Corridon is just so nice. Nautilus is such an overpowered companion. Hopefully Corridon doesn't get nerfed in the Companions 2.0 Part 2 update that they'll be doing soon. That would be very sad. I mean, I could understand why they would do it. I mean, it's a very strong companion. But we're also about to get Sevagoth Prime, so I don't think they would want to like reduce the value of Nautilus Prime, which is coming with him, when, you know, they get money by people buying the Prime Access. So, I don't know. I don't think they'll nerf it, but we'll have to wait and see. Time to murder this stupid Netramite. Where is it? Hello, Netramite. I can probably go ahead and show off the Lex too. I should. Because it's pretty funny. Though, building the Incarnon form on weapons in the laboratories is a bit of a pain, since a lot of these enemies don't even have headshot hitboxes, or like the freaking little spots on these dudes, the green parts that can build headshot, they get destroyed in one hit, so you can't get very much Incarnon charge on it before it's already destroyed. But we got most of our Incarnon charge now. There we go. And look, Lex Incarnon's pretty great already, but then when we have all of the armor and biostrip and we've got gas going on, oh my god. This is beautiful. Oh yeah, and I haven't even been casting Breach Surge. This build is already so insane you don't even need Breach Surge. It just adds in some more funny numbers. So, you know, why not? Why not get some more beautiful red crits all over the place? That's always nice. Everybody loves some good old red crits, don't they? Boogity boogity. Yeah, always make sure to be spamming your core. Just like with other builds, right? You know, when you're on Hildred, you spam Pillage. When you're on Ember, you spam your Fire Blast. And when you're on Frost, or at least with this build, you spam your Avalanche. If you're about to die, cast Avalanche. If you need Armor Strip, cast Avalanche. If you need something frozen, cast Avalanche. If you need your what is it, Snowstorm or whatever stacks from the Arcane, cast Avalanche. If your teammates need Overguard, cast Avalanche. Ooga booga. I know there will be people that don't enjoy like spamming the crap out of an ability, but you're really not just using nothing but your 4, right? We can, if we need defense, we can cast our 3. If we just want a little bit of cold, or like we don't have enough energy, we can cast our 2. And you're spamming all of your weapons, or using your weapons in between casting your avalanche. Like you're not killing stuff with avalanche, you're just stripping them and getting them ready to die. Netramites, I'm coming for you. Boogity boogity boo. Where is he? Alright, we got him. Back to the zone. I believe in you. Frost is such a massive PB. Look at this. Dying. What's dying like? We don't even know. Frost is just way too powerful for that. I do wish he had a new deluxe skin or something. Like, he's got a lot of skins and Tennogen skins, but they're all like the same sort of shape on him. And he has a deluxe skin. I mean, most frames only have one. But I don't care for like the weird like RAM look of it. I mean, it's not horrible. But I would really like a different Frost skin that makes him not look so, I don't know, chunky, I guess you could say. That's just my personal preference. I know there are people that really like the current deluxe skin, and I can understand that, right? I can see why they would like it. It's just not to my personal taste. Let's switch back to the Gorgon, because I love it. I didn't even need to run Naramine. I'm not even using my melee right now. It's pretty obvious as to why he's good. I don't think I really need to explain it. If you got eyes, and at least, like, you know, a singular brain cell remaining, then you should be able to understand what's going on here. And Frost has just been getting lots of W's. Like, he wasn't a bad frame before, but he's been just getting wins left and right. Like, it feels like every update we get, Frost just gets more powerful. And I'm more than okay with that. I mean, Frost is a very entertaining frame to play. And he's one of the OGs, right? He's been around a long time. I believe Frost Prime was the very first frame in the entire game to get Prime variants. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he was the first frame to ever get a Prime. Way back when, before I even started playing this game. I've been playing this game like 8 or 9 years, and the game's been out like 13 years or something, I think. Something like that. What am I doing? I don't even need all these crates. I'm actually just wasting my time right now. Yes, an Entrati Lanthorn, because I totally needed that. Boogity boogity boo. On to extraction. I'm not really quite sure what to talk about now. I mean, you know, y'all saw the build. Y'all saw how it works. It's very spicy. I like the fact that the Overguard applies to teammates as well as your Sentinel. I mean, it gives your Sentinel lots of survivability, and it also means your teammates are drowning in Overguard, so they don't die as much, because let's be honest here, we always get that one blueberry that dies every 7 seconds. And then after he dies 20,000 times in Deep Archimedia, and then, you know, perma-dies because he's 7,000 meters away from where the objective is, he gets mad and cusses you out in squad chat. And then he leaves, and you're like, damn, that's a skill issue. Anyway, that's going to do it for the Frost Max investment video. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe, maybe share this with other people. Adios.